Welcome to Gallant Conversations. Gallant is a business-to-business consultancy specializing in industrial innovation.
We drive growth for our clients through strategies and insights in brand management and strategic communications.
If you're in an industry focused on progress at the macro level, we're here to facilitate a conversation, starting now. So I'm here today with Igor Kochit.
Say Kosis.
Kosis! I am here today with Igor Kosis at GA Drilling. He is the CEO of GA Drilling, and it is an incredible company, a very deep tech company that's focusing on geothermal. And we just had a chance to introduce Igor to our interns. And those guys are very, very young, and they're just starting their careers. And they're entering into a whole new world. What do you want people that age to know about geothermal?
First of all, thank you and good morning.
Just like jumping in.
Yeah. I think what is great that geothermal can bring is really the solution for the energy market, because we see last year's the start of the another energy transition. It happened in the 19th century that we step by step adopt first steam, and then we were able to adopt in early 20th century then the engines and electricity. And these were some revolutions in the industry, and it took tens and tens of the years. And then we have coal power plants, we have nuclear power plants, after the time gas, and all of them they are based mostly on the fossil fuels. And now last 5 years is a very strong push to change it, because we see the consequences in many regions already in the world. So it's not some climate change, it's not just some future promise, it's already happening.
Right.
And for this young generation, is super important to know that is some solution or mix of solution that can solve it. Because what we see here in the world, yes, we have a lot of solar and wind, but this is just a part of the game.
Right.
These sources have some advantages, but also big drawbacks. And the biggest one is the intermittency of these sources, that they are not working when we need it. They are working only in the time that Mother Nature is making the opportunity for them. And compared to that, and what's great message on the geothermal is a baseload 24/7 power that can replace these dirty or expensive sources. Expensive, I'm not only talking about the price, but also about the safety or security, because many countries, including most of the Europe, is fully dependent on non-democratic regimes, and this is not healthy. And if we are able to have our own source or combination of the sources that is able to fulfill the energy needs, that's for me the winning game, and is worth to fight for it.
Yeah, I know that your mantra is very much about democratizing energy. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's something that is connected with the energy, because today energy, we can also use a term that is weaponized. And it's maybe now more talking here in this aspect about the misusing of the energy to push to countries and to influence the things that we don't want to be influenced. And that's one of the parameters. But second is affordability. Right. And I think it is very natural and good solution if you have the source of the energy that is local, that is affordable regarding the price, but also is affordable that you can have it in your region when you need it. And this is something that geothermal can fulfill. So geothermal regarding the cost or will be, that's our ambition of the company, because today it's limited to some areas, but our ambition is to bring it to any place when people need this power, and they're able to do it without need of the import of any fuels, or they are not dependent on the other energy companies or the other states to have some kind of the fit. So for me, is a really solution that can bring this change, and it should happen in a global scale.
And so whenever you decided to kind of solve or be a participant in solving the climate change issues of the day, how did y'all hone in on focusing on number one, geothermal, and number two, I think, which is kind of the powerful piece, the idea of really maximizing drilling itself?
So here I have to start with how we started the company, and I'm not a driller, as well as not my partners and founders in the company. We came to this topic of the geothermal from outside, from technology era, when we see the geothermal as a great thing. You can see it in Iceland or in geysers near San Francisco, how you can deliver hundreds of megawatts of the baseload power. The problem is that you can do it only on a few places, and we made this major question, okay, when it is great, why we can't use it in a similar way in the other regions? And then we looked deeper, still as a hobby before we found a company, to the problem. And we clearly came to a conclusion that, yes, this biggest challenge is the initial cost of the building of the power plant and high risk that is associated. Why it is so is that if you want to make the geothermal project successful, first you have to drill first exploratory well that should go to the relevant depth when it's enough energy. It's so that deeper you are going, then the higher temperature is, higher energy you can expect. So in regions, like I mentioned, Iceland, when it's volcanic activity, tectonic faults, you have very high temperatures near surface, and it's quite enough to use conventional technologies, oil and gas technologies, to make it happen. While in the other regions, here in Texas or east coast of the US or most of the regions in the world, yes, temperature is always there. That's a great message. Bad message is much deeper. It means much more costly. And deeper you are drilling, this is how you can access these reservoirs. The cost is growing faster and faster. It means that you have some point. After this point, the projects are not feasible. And they are very risky for investors because if the first well that could cost millions or even tens of millions in some cases, US dollars, just to put the money to that and not to find the right reservoir because you have to go, for example, another thousands of feet deeper, this is something that energy companies don't like, and investors as well. And clearly identifying this problem, we tried to look that, okay, it's possible to find solution for that. We looked for some previous unsuccessful attempts that were done in many laboratories, universities, or teams that tried to solve this problem of the cost of the drilling and establishing the feasible geothermal projects. And none of them was successful out of the lab. And we came with some ideas. We are able to prove in a, let's say, garage environment that yes, we can use the thermal drilling as the way how to drill and to enrich this conventional mechanical drilling as we know it from the industry by the methodology that can do it order of magnitude better. And that was for us decision point when I said, okay, it's a great challenge, is a great potential because being able to solve it, we can really do something for this world, for our kids, because we can enable this geothermal on the global scale. And that was our start, how we started. And then we focused first years on the pure research, development, testing of these different technologies, atoms, and we end up that we have a solution how to thermally influence the rock by plasma and being able then to increase significantly the drilling speed and therefore to make the project cheaper.
All right. Okay. Wow. And so when do you expect to kind of bring this all forward to fruition? I mean, when will I be able to turn the thermostat in my house up or down, because it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously residential heating is always what they talk about, but really it's any energy. When will I be able to press that button as low as I want to go in Houston, Texas, and have geothermal kind of.
That's a good point that you say in Houston, because
yes.
Of course, geothermal is not new. What is, I think, advantage and great that exactly answer for your question in Reykjavik will be that you can do it today.
Yes, right.
But in Houston, yes, you have to do it in a different way. Our now talking about us, our plan is to have a first pilot project next year, and strategy is to go step by step. It means that first to prove the first part of the solution, that is mostly based on the mechanical approach, how to enhance today's drilling with our technology, and then in the next 3 to 5 years, step by step to adopt new approaches that maybe are not so common in today's drilling, but they can bring another significant value. And this value is basically in two major areas. First of all is to increase the speed of the drilling netto, and specifically talking about the environments that are very deep. So you have high pressure, you have high temperature there, and you have typically hard rocks when it's very hard to drill. And what we are able to solve step by step, also with the learning curve, how we will be able to optimize our solution, is to get year by year deeper to more ambitious projects. And our midterm vision in this 3 to 5 years is to be able to go below in a feet, let's say 20,000, 25,000 feet, and to enable the power in Houston as well. Because yes, you have also today many projects that are also in Europe, also in the States. They are subsidized by the government. I think it's great that there are the innovations around, that are supported. Also, we will need some, of course, help and some contingency plan in the beginning, because not all the things always run as you plan.
Right.
But after this first 1 or 2 successful projects, then you can open it and to do it on much more, let's say, scalable way. And this is our strategy, to be there next year and the year after.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. And then whenever you mentioned Houston, you mentioned Virginia, you mentioned a couple of different places. And it seems like I've seen some sort of statistic that said that if you all are able to access 70 or provide geothermal wells or infrastructure to about 70% of the world, you could essentially provide it to anyone. Talk a little bit more about that.
That's our strategy since beginning. So also original name of our company is Geothermal Anywhere. And we just use now abbreviation, because when we were talking about these things with energy industry 10 years ago, not too much people cared. And now it's big change, because most of the companies, governments, they clearly adopted energy transition strategies, and they need to fulfill their targets till 2030, 35, yes. 40. Regarding energy business is around the corner. And your question about this global scale up, that's definitely something that we have as a main target. And from 2 perspectives. First of all, we want to influence the global energy production and the climate change situation that we have now. You can't solve it only in the US, or you can't solve it only in Europe. And if you are able to export the knowledge and technology that can make it anywhere, even in the much suitable areas, talking about other regions like Africa or Far East and so on. This is a huge also business opportunity, because basically by the shifting of the technology, you can then shift the market. And
that's right.
From this, let's say, limited regions today, you can make this scale up. Of course, it won't happen within 1 year, but in time frame of this decade that is now coming, I'm very optimistic that you can see after 3-5 years plenty of the new projects that will be not only as new projects, but also there is a huge opportunity for the geothermal to make the retrofitting and replacement of existing fossil power plants, like coal, for example. Because what is great here, you have the land, you have infrastructure, you have a grid, and just what you need is to drill wells nearby this plant, utilize this infrastructure, and deliver the power that has basically same parameters compared to previous fossil fuel production. And this is some big advantage because you don't need to make some new grid or some smart grids or big balancing elements in the network like storage. Just you can use it, and opposite geothermal can be used as a balancing element in the whole network.
So I think that's so just fascinating in terms of leveraging existing infrastructure. What absolutely opens my heart and to me is so exciting is that you have so much talent that is transferable. Obviously we're in Houston, so we've got brilliant drillers, we've got brilliant reservoir engineers, we've got folks like that they're looking at the energy transition going, okay, well, what about me? What about them? You need them, right?
Absolutely. And that's why we also are here now, because we started in Europe, specifically with great engineers and people who are able to invite and create the core of the technology. And then soon we recognized that we don't have enough right expertise in our region in Central Europe, and we started to work and cooperate with our team that we created in the UK. That was the first step in 7 years ago time, and then we are looking, okay, now we are able to solve many of the aspects of the drilling, of the expertise with design of the downhole tools. But okay, where is the best place in the world that we can now commercialize it, that we can integrate it with the real world, and really to utilize the expertise skills of the people that are working 20, 30 years in the drilling industry. And just what we need is to convert them from doing drilling for the hydrocarbons to do basically same job, but for the green energy. That I think is a best opportunity for today oil and gas market to step by step convert big part of their activities into geothermal, because according to our calculations, if we can use only 5 to 10% of the assets and the teams from the today's drilling / oil and gas industry for the geothermal, in 20 years we can solve basically energy problem of the mankind by the geothermal. I'm not talking about us as a company. We are able to enable this kind of let's say revolution of the in geothermal, but the very good cooperation with today's rig providers, service companies, and the project companies in a global scale, it can bring plenty of new gigawatts that can be added to the network, or they can replace existing fossil fuel gigawatts. And this is a great opportunity for the next, let's say, 2 decades, where this transition can be done much sooner than with the other solutions that basically we are trying to, as a energy industry development, to bring, because until now geothermal was not a real player in the market due to the drawbacks it had.
Right.
But if we are able to solve these drawbacks, there is no brainer why not to use it in a scale.
And so is there any, I mean, when you're talking about kind of these ultra deep wells, I mean, is there an application for distributed power and that sort of thing with kind of the more ultra deep?
Yes, definitely. Simplifying the things, deeper you are going, more energy you get. Of course, it's not only about the drilling. You have to have solutions that are able to work in this high temperature environment. You have to be able to maintain and operate the wells in this. But I think is a great place for many innovations that could happen in geothermal energy next years. We can see it in solar or the wind energy. Step by step from 70s, 80s, it increased their parameters, also market penetration. It needed heavy subsidies to be eligible. But then in the 90s and specifically 2000s, it happened that a lot of new companies, new teams. They started to work on many innovations that successfully happened. And now you see that solar is exploding. And of course, as I mentioned, it has some drawbacks. Of course, it's working only during the day. But you see that the whole industry around was able to bring the competitive solution. And I see here even better position for geothermal because around the drilling is already a strong existing industry. We don't need to reinvent the wheel that it will take 20, 30 years to build some drilling industry because it's there.
Right.
And just adopting some new innovations and technologies with all this great knowledge that is coming from today's drilling industry, this combination is something that can really explode within the next 3 to 5 years. And just to make it happen, we can see miracles.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Well, thank you so very much, Igor. And we're thrilled to have you here in Houston.
My pleasure, and hopefully that we can accelerate our work here. That's why we are here, and to have some good news within the next couple of months.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we will stay tuned and look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thanks for joining this conversation with Gallant.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained meaningful insight.
If you find this entertaining or helpful, subscribe and leave us a review.
And don't forget to share this conversation with your network.
For more resources and to stay updated with Gallant Insights and our amazing client portfolio companies, visit gallantculture.com.
Join us next time as we continue to explore perspectives within the industrial innovation space propelling us forward.
Until then, we ask you to stay thoughtful and curious.